Hello, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Stone, and this is your writing lesson for today. We're going to be continuing on your tall tale setup. We did the character already, and now we're going to go into the storyline. It's going to be a brief outline to kind of give you an idea of a roadmap that you're going to start writing your tall tale. We're going to work on this in class on Friday, not necessarily this page. We're going to work on a different page. So this page has to be done before Friday. So you should find this page in your binder. The page number is listed on your assignment sheet, so take a look at that. You're going to need to grab it. And I'm going to be doing mine in colored letters, colored words, and stuff like that. You do not need to do that for yours. You can just write yours in regular pencil. And remember that this does not need to be in cursive. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so if you all remember, my tall tale character was going to be about Lightning Larry. And so what I'm going to do first is we're going to go over that section that says problem solved in a funny way. Remember that a tall tale, they have a problem, they solve it in a funny way, and that funny way is kind of like, it's called hyperbole. It's very exaggerated. So I'm going to state what my problem is in this box and tell how Larry solves it. Now, this doesn't have to be long. We're just getting the outline of your story. So in my story, Lightning Larry will change unkind and unsavory hombres to instant friends, one lightning zing at a time. All right. So that's going to be basically the overall theme or the idea of my story. And I'm just going to write it in one sentence and put it right there in that box. All right, so, and remember, if you want to go ahead and watch this whole thing and then do yours at the end, that's perfectly fine, however you want to do it. But if I go too fast, you just need to pause the video. Okay, let's move over to the setting. Where is the setting? Setting is time and place. It can be both. It can be one or the other. In mine, it's going to be both. Old West in the days of cowboys. Okay, so this is, when cowboys and Indians kind of a theme time. There won't be any Indians in my story, but cowboys and Indian days set in an old Western town. Just kind of in your mind, think about the characters are going to have, cowboy clothes on. There's probably going to be, a dirt street with buildings on both sides and things like that. They're all going to ride horses and everything. So that's the setting of my tall tale. Now let's move on to larger than life character. Okay, you kind of did this already in your the other page that we did on Monday, but just kind of give a brief overview. Lightning Larry is a normal cowboy that doesn't like mean people, and he changes enemies into friends. All right. Need a period at the end of that sentence. So he's just a normal looking person, but he has this ability to change mean people into nice people. So the title of my story is going to be Lightning Larry and the Lawbreakers. Now, if you talking about figurative language, one type of figurative language that you can use is called alliteration. And alliteration is the repeating of a consonant sound. So Lightning, Larry, and the Lawbreaker. So my alliteration in that title is L's. You can do that if you want to. It makes it a little bit more interesting and kind of fun. And so that's what I've decided to name my story. Okay, so let's go over to descriptive words. Now on your paper, it talks about similes and metaphors. It's also figurative language. You've probably heard of those before, and you're probably going to be talking about those in reading. If you can think of similes or metaphors that you want to use, you could write them down in this spot right here. But something else that I did is I went and I looked up all the juicy words that I'm thinking about using, and then I don't have to keep going back and forth and try to think of them when I'm writing. They're going to be right there in that box. So what I did is I went in and I found like the synonyms and the antonyms for the word unkind or kind and came up with a bunch of words. And so I came up with a ton of words. Now, that very first thing that says fast as lightning, that's a simile, okay? It's part of a simile. So if I say Lightning Larry drew his gun as fast as lightning, I'm comparing how he drew his gun, okay, to lightning, very quick. All right. Now, the other words that you see on there are words that I found that mean kind, like he's friendly or whatever. So I came up with kind, loving, merciful, generous, pleasant, soft-hearted, kind-hearted, sweet, gentle, neighborly, considerate, gentle, warm, and caring. So when I'm probably going to describe Lightning Larry, I'm going to use those adjectives, those juicy describing words to describe Lightning Larry. Now, I probably won't use the same word all the time, but all of those words mean basically the same thing. Now, when I'm describing the people that he's trying to change, all right, the lawbreakers, you're going to use antonyms. So I've come up with mean, harsh, rough, hurtful, cruel, disagreeable, gruff, and surly. So when I'm describing the people he's trying to change, I'll probably use those descriptive words. And I put them in that box so that I don't have to go back and look up all of these words when I'm getting ready to write. All right? It just slows you down. And so it's good to have a place on your chart where you're going to put words that you're going to use. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the exaggerated details. On this one, because you're just forming your story, you can put things down where you have ideas. You can put them in full sentences. You can just jot ideas down that you're going to use. But you need to remember that you're going to have one problem that your superhero or superheroine or whatever is going to solve. Okay. So I don't want to get too complicated and too many ideas. You're going to stay really basic because when you start throwing too many ideas out there, it's really hard to follow. So the exaggerated details that I don't have to necessarily commit to this, okay, but I think that I want to use in my story is going to talk about Lightning Larry's horse Charger energizes his guns when he whinnies. Okay, think about that. If you have a lightning gun, don't you think you need a charger? And his horse's name is Charger. All right. And also, Lightning Larry's lightning gun changes mean people to kind people when zinged through the heart. Okay, now it doesn't hurt them physically. It's just going to zing them. And then the drought that was in the land. I haven't decided if I'm going to use this one yet, but I put it down just kind of as a reminder. There was a drought in my story. Okay, in the old western town in the area, there was a drought. That means no rain. Okay, the drought lifted because of all the multiple uses of the lightning gun. Think about lightning and rain. I haven't decided if I'm going to use that one yet, but it came across my mind. So what I did is I put it in that box just in case I want to use it. So put down ideas that you want to use. You don't have to use them, but they're there in case you can't think of something and you come up with you can't think of something later. You've come up with the idea now. All right, so this is what your chart is going to look like. Okay, your chart has to be done by Friday because we're going to use it to do something else. So it has to be done by Friday, and you're going to put it in your doc folder. And then when we get ready to write what we're going to do on Friday, I'll return this back to you. So this is your lesson. I hope you have a fun time with this. I love writing tall tales, great imagination. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you at school.